Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, January 30th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple quick clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be moving around and changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be moving. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, Bzfd. Talked about this one yesterday and talked about that bull flag that had formed, and wow, did that bull flag get a breakout and continuation today. So anybody that took advantage of that, watched the video, congratulations. I'm sure you're headed into the weekend smiling ear to ear. But let's get some things mapped out now as we head into next week. So as far as the current battleground is concerned, all about that $4 mark. You can see several times there, and there. Price got right around that area and could never break through it. The one time the price did break through it, that didn't last very long, and the price dropped back below it. So $4 is just an area where the price is having a difficult time maintaining and continuing to build momentum. But I mean, given that the price started off down here, that's understandable. Why people are probably wanting to take those profits up at $4. But that is going to be that first key level of resistance. And then in terms of levels of support, get that trend line in play right there. So let me change that to green to represent more so a bullish dynamic. And then change this all into one color, make it easier to see. So we have our resistance, we have our support, have the big move right there. For you golfers out there, let's make it more visual, put in the golf hole down here. So this would be a bull pennant pattern. So on Thursday, it was a bull flag pattern. Now going into the weekend on Friday here, we have ourselves a bull pennant pattern. Next, Lcid, which absolutely exploded, got halted, but there was that news that came out and now have itself a nice little pattern here. What's very interesting, I mean, but if you look at these lows keep getting higher and higher and higher. So miniature little uptrend right there. Does that mean for sure guaranteed that the price is going to explode upwards? No, there are no guarantees. But is it plausible to be interested? Is it rational to be interested in thinking that way? Absolutely makes a whole lot of sense. And in my mind, key level to watch headed into Friday, or excuse me, it's Friday today, headed into Monday, is going to be that $14 mark as that key breakout point. And then as far as levels of support are concerned, whoops, let's change this to, nope. Can you tell it's Friday? There we go. Good thing it's Friday. I've got nothing left, but key level of support right there at the $12 mark. But yeah, no doubt about it right now, just a very, very narrow consolidation range. So that presents an interesting situation. That's what a watch list is all about. Finding unique, finding interesting situations, and not randomly rush out and buying anything, but watching and observing. So yeah, tight little range here. Who's going to win out? Do the bulls get a big break to the big side or to the upside? Do the bears get a break to the downside? We'll see what happens, but it's definitely going to be some interesting action. Next one, Tsla, Tesla, and wow, what a monster move today. Now, this does make sense. Now, not necessarily as big of a move, but those of you that watched the previous video, you know that I talked about this level of resistance right here, that red line, which was rejected there, rejected right there. So this had been a major problem point. So when the price did break above that level, I mean, there were just, I'm sure a lot of that had to do with shorts covering because they had stop losses around that area. And I mean, it was just shorts covering, people buying, and it was just a very, very powerful day. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those lines there as they serve their purpose for now. Let's map out a couple of the newest levels. Now, headed into Monday, we have that resistance right there, and then we have that level right there. So we have this upwards channel here, and it's not really a rising wedge, but I mean, it could very well be a rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern, which does not mean that this thing is going to crash downwards. But could I see a bit of a pullback early next week? Yes. And I don't think that's really a bold claim given how fast and how far this thing has gone up over the past couple of days. So a pullback, I would not be shocked at all. And the first sign of that, of a pullback coming, is going to be, visiting that green line there and then breaking down through it. If that does occur, then the key level of support to watch from more of an overarching standpoint going to be down there right around that 165 mark. So keep an eye on that. But I mean, think about it. Even if the price were to drop all the way to 165, I mean, that would still just be a set of lows there. And you look at those lows and those lows, and if you envision those as stair steps, what do you still have? Well, from the big picture, you would still very, very clearly have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction, which really just demonstrates how powerful of a move it's been for Tesla. Like I said, for it to drop all the way back down to 165 and still have very well-defined higher bases, I mean, that's a good sign of power. Next one, AMC. Very, very interesting day, very impressive day. Things were not looking so good early on in the day, seemed to just kind of be drifting back downwards. And then this afternoon happened, very nice increase in price movement. And now we have ourselves a great question, a great dynamic moving forward. I'm just going to go ahead and use this line up here. But the question becomes, can the price break up through $5.60? You can see 560 rejected the price there, rejected the price there, and once again rejected the price there. So you're going to have all sorts of people watching 560. And when lots of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there are no guarantees, is it plausible? Is it valid to think that the price comes up here and breaks through 560, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. So big movement here. Can the price get more momentum? Can the price get up there and break through the 560 mark? Definitely a very interesting question, a very exciting question to keep an eye on for Monday. Next one, AUVI, and overall had a bit of a pullback here. So there's no doubt about it that today there was this pullback that occurred late day. But assuming you care about the big picture point of view, you have to ask yourself, well, what was going on before this pullback, before this downwards channel occurred? And you had this massive explosion right here. So in all actuality, all that's occurred today is a bull flag pattern. Now, there is perspective that goes into it. If you're a day trader and you were buying right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 4 minutes, well, then yes, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad. However, again, if you care about the bigger picture point of view, then all you still do have is a bull flag pattern. So if you like bull flags, if you like stocks down below $5, I'd keep an eye on it. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader and to manage risk, certainly get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free training. Next one, Xela. Been a while since I've done this one. The last time I did do it, though, talked about that green trend line right there. And I mean, just the power of charts. Price broke through that trend line, came up here, back tested it, got rejected. And you can see just the trend line there served as a very, very key leading indicator that the bears are starting to take back over. And now this thing has continued to drift downwards, including the last 30 minutes of the day. And given it's Friday, the last 30 minutes of the week, big volume bar, big red candle. So yeah, not a great way to end the week, but let's map out some levels since I know this one is very, very popular. But also you can see how the movement today was very important and very brutal, not necessarily because it was red, but because it broke down through 7 cents, which I mean, had such a good track record once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times of holding strong. But now that 7 cents has been broken, that'll be the main area of resistance moving forward. And this is just based on a foundational rule, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of bounce, 7 cents will be that main area of support, or excuse me, of resistance. As far as supports are concerned, basically in no man's land right now, because again, when I squeeze this out, you can see that this is as low as it's been maybe ever. I don't know if this is all-time lows, but it's definitely close to it. So at this point, it's kind of just one of these, you got to wait for some sort of confirmation candle, got to wait for an indecision moment, a hammer candle, doji, something like that. But yeah, there's nothing much I can say right now because, it's basically the reverse of a blue sky breakout. You're in no man's land to the downside. Next one, MULN, and I'm going to keep this pretty straightforward since you've already seen this pattern here, but we have ourselves a good quality trend line here, and I say quality because you got to think that a lot of people have drawn that trend line. So which brings back up the talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies. So you got to think, like I said, a lot of people are watching that level, and you also have to think that a lot of people are probably noticing how the price did a very good job of consolidating out down around the 31.5 cent mark. So if we make this all one color again to keep it easier to see, resistance, support, big move up, golf flow down here, have yourselves another bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, but you prefer more so penny stocks, here you go. Next, NIO did this one, was it Thursday or Wednesday? I can't remember, but point being, I remember putting that trend line into play, and you can see, as I talked about in those videos, that when the price came up there and broke through there, absolutely fantastic breakout to the upside. Sure, there's been a bit of a pullback, but overall, higher highs and higher lows, and that's what matters the most. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that line as it served its purpose for now. But the first update is just based on the rule that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward in the near term, right around that 1255-ish mark, going to be that key level of support if the price does pull back some more. In terms of levels of resistance, everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching this level up here at, let's just call it 1325. You can see Right there is where the price got rejected, and then surprise, surprise, got rejected again. So just a classic example of the power of charts. So I'll turn that into a quick plug. Get signed up for the free training. Are charts perfect? No, but do they have a place for us as traders? Absolutely, and here is just a real-time example of that. But overall, looking good headed into next week, so we'll see if the bulls can continue on with the momentum. Next, FOXO. I don't know if I've ever seen this ticker symbol until before today. FOXO, going to be the main level to watch here. I can't even speak it through my FOXO is going to be the ticker symbol and the main trend line to watch. Again, like I said, the theme here. Good thing it's Friday. I got nothing left. Stick a fork in me, coach. But right here, we have the trend line, which goes back to the self-fulfilling prophecy talking point. You got to think a lot of people have drawn on that trend line. Very basic, but that's what's the best, because when you know a lot of people are watching that level, it guarantees nothing, but it certainly makes it plausible that if the price can come up there and then get the breakup through it, that break in and of itself could create quite a bit of upwards momentum. If this does continue to pull back, then the level that stands out to me as a potential area to keep an eye on right down there at the 73-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. And I suppose if you want, you could call this, I can see if people would disagree, I guess kind of a bull pennant pattern, but like I said, 100% understand. You're like, no, Clay, that's kind of a square peg through a round hole. Fair enough. But nonetheless, fantastic volume on this one. Ticker symbol that I've never even seen before. So who knows? We'll see what happens with it on Monday. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that follows the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market will rise, this one will also rise. It just allows you access at a much lower price point. And this thing has been grinding higher and higher. But what makes this so interesting is that last 30 minutes, and you don't want to put too much emphasis on it because this is the last 30 minutes of the day and of the week. So that it could very well just be some, end of week selling off and not mean anything at all. It would not shock me at all if this just recovers, big gap up and all that. But nonetheless, still interesting because, to be fair, maybe that is some sort of leading indicator of a bigger move to come. But what I'm getting at mostly is I would not panic too much about that just because, like I said, last 30 minutes on a Friday, we'll see what happens. But newest update here is just, again, based on that rule when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So if this is indeed the start of a bigger pullback, it'll be interesting to see how the price behaves at $23. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. That's served its purpose for now. And then as far as levels of resistance are concerned, nothing fancy here. Just a question of where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at 23.85. So for that reason alone, in my mind, 23.85 going to be a very important level, very key level headed into next week. But I mean, talk about just a grind. I mean, look at this. Bottomed out after this gap out and then just huge uptrend. And even with the pullback here, it's still above that trend line. So you got to give credit where credit's due. Very, very impressive past few days here for the NASDAQ. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live training. Like I said, it'll be next week, Thursday, February 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching next week. But those two things communicate to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know people are enjoying, I will continue to put the time and effort to get these videos out to you. So again, get signed up for that class. Hit that like button. Leave a comment below. Have a great weekend.